How's it going, everyone? VenomousStare, back with wonderful StarCraft 2 action. This time, we're going to have a best of 5 between Polt and Nerchio, a Polish player and a Korean. Two very, very good players. Honestly, in StarCraft 2, they're some of the highest earners. Nerchio has probably won the most online tournaments out of anyone. I would say he's known for his excellence online, but he's also won multiple lands, or placed top 3 in multiple lands at least. He won Home Story Cup, he placed second in WCS. He's an exceptional player. He's someone who plays with a lot of intuition and can do lots of different styles. He's not necessarily someone who only does one style, or someone who even favors one style per se. Nerchio can kind of do it all. And then in the other corner we have Polt, the Korean terror. Known for his Polt Viking, he often showcases exceptional micromanagement as well as multitask. And being a Korean player, he cheeses, he macros, he does it all very, very well. He's well-rounded. He's Korean, but he lives in America. He goes to UT, the University of Texas, and he speaks English. He has English interviews if you want to pause this video and go watch some Polt interviews, but he's a great player too. Both players are fast expanding. Polt, of course, doing that Reaper expand, which is very common. I'll belt it up to ×2 here. Nerchio has 6 lings on the way already, which is great to see. Polt throws a grenade, doesn't get a single thing. Notice how Nerchio's taken off gas too. He's already gotten his Zergling speed started, so this means he has more money for drones, queens, and expansion. Starts a spore there. Nice micro there from Nerchio. Queen pops out, 6 lings too. Nerchio's going to be able to defend this with ease. Back in Camp Polt, the CC's about to finish. And Polt's making an additional factory. Nerchio sees that Polt has expanded. And Polt, after making 2 Jim Raynors, is going to start his double Hellion production. So old school stuff there from Polt. Some of the other TVZs I've cast recently, which you can find on my channel. Foxer versus Blast specifically, we saw Foxer showcase some tank medevac pressure, as opposed to the Hellion stuff. It's because Zergs have been opening Roaches more frequently. A reactor from Polt. I'm kind of interested to see what this is, because I was thinking this would be Blue Flame. Usually that's what these 2 early factories indicate. But he has an armory. Okay, I think it's a Hellbat push. Polt's going to harass forward, doesn't kill the tumor, which is very, very good for Nerchio, because that's exceptionally annoying when you lose that. Nerchio with perfect saturation in his main, and he has a Roach Warren about to complete. Nerchio was able to afford those 2 early queens because he took the drones out of his gas early. It might have delayed some tech, but it let him get that extra queen, which is very helpful. If you're a Zerg player, I think you should always try to make a second queen when you can. Nerchio loses 2 tumors as he has roaches come out. Starting drones, very good for Nerchio. If we pull up the income tab, Nerchio's ahead in drones. Polt has lots of Hellions. Now I don't think this Hellbat push is going to do very much damage because Nerchio has opened Roach. Hold on one second. Nothing happened, I'm not going to cut it. Nerchio has a layer on the way as well as double Evo, and his roaches are already in a defensive posture. But these are Hellbats, and I don't know if Nerchio knew about that. He has roaches, though. All he has to do is make roaches. He already has the tech for defense. Polt has an expansion on the way, as well as 3 barracks. And I think if Nerchio just pumps roaches and splits his units, well, he's going to be okay. He's kiting backwards here, not taking very much damage by the Hellbats. He might lose this expansion, which could be bad. But Polt has committed a lot to do this. Lots of minerals, at least. Destiny never got his wish, and Hellions never costed gas. Polt has a starport on the way. I hope to see a Viking as soon as that starport completes, the Polt Viking. I actually asked Polt about this at DreamHack Austin if he made this up. If you don't know, Polt will often make 1 Viking before anything else. He's been doing it for years, and he uses this to hunt overlords, and it's very annoying, and it allows him to drop with impunity and absolutely decimate his opponents. And it's one of the linchpins of his play, because it really opens up his ability to multitask. And he said he didn't make it up, but he really likes it. I couldn't get him to commit to owning up to it and saying it was his, but I suspect that he was one of the first ones to really start influencing people to do it. If you don't know, Polt has been around forever. Since the first GSL, the hardest tournament in the world, the Korean tournament casted by the best casters, Tastosis if you don't know, if you're new to the scene. This is a great spot for his tanks. Polt will be able to defend a lot of his natural ramp, or the ramp to his main and his 3rd base, and it will be very hard for Nerchio to destroy that, because Polt can always just focus fire overlords. Combat shields is close to completing for Polt. That would be a big deal if Nerchio could attack before that, but he just doesn't have the units. Hive on the way for Nerchio. Very quick hive. If I were to speculate, I would say fast ultras, which is very hard to deal with. Nerchio has 3 infestors on the way too. This will kind of help supplement the fact that he doesn't have Mutalisk and complement his infestors later. Polt has a double drop. Nerchio has 2 roaches for this double drop. He has an infestor, but he did not get pathogen glands, or at least it might have been late. He just never got it. But he scares Polt away. Polt flies into a spore there a bit, but nothing really comes of it. 1-1 is about to complete for Polt, which is nice because he's behind on upgrades versus Zerg, which isn't good for Terran. Usually Terran is ahead or even on upgrades. And oftentimes it's way easier for Terran to have the gas to start 3-3, whereas Zerg will sometimes have to delay 3-3, especially because it takes Hive, which is harder to get to than Armory. So usually Terrans have the advantage if it goes to a late game. And here we see Polt attacking with the Tank-Evac Marine combo. He takes some damage from the Ravagers of Nerchio, but micros well. Nerchio's Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. That's the build that he's going for. This quick Ultras. Nice fungal from Nerchio. Ooh, Corrosive Bile doing big damage to Polt. Nerchio coming forward again. Polt is going to continue to pressure this 4th base and abuse this high ground position. Luckily, Nerchio has started to spread some creep already. A few Corrosive Biles going forward, preventing Polt from walking in that one little area. Ravagers taking tank fire, but Nerchio pulls them back and doesn't lose them. Nice micro. Nerchio counterattacking this is very good. One of the best ways to stop a Terran parade push, but Polt's going to abuse this little spot I spoke about earlier and stop the harass. Nerchio running forward with Infestors. He gets a few, but he's going to get for sure hits. That's a sure thing, like Mariano Rivera. More Tank-Evacs on the way for Polt, as he's going to be harassed a little bit. Not expecting Nerchio to be able to multitask, I dare say. Or maybe just really needing the tanks in his opinion, who knows. But Nerchio has ultras now. And Polt loses a marine to the corrosive bile. One thing that Nerchio has always done is he'll start one creep tumor and continuously spread it all game, no matter which direction it goes in, and I love to see this as a Zerg player. Oh, a fungal whiffs there. And Nerchio's kind of running low on energy here, but he hits a pretty good one, and those are going to land. The corrosive biles do very well, and now Polt just doesn't have the marines to keep up with this. Polt, I know he has the micro. A lot of Terrans aren't really used to dealing with the style, as you can see. Polt's going to run forward and stem. Pull back a little bit. But Lings are coming forward. Fungal goes down. Nice Fungal, preventing the tank from being lifted. An Ultraling flanking Polt's army, who simply didn't have enough, wasn't backing up with Liberators quite yet. Nerchio has been trading very effectively. He has not let Polt establish this crushing numbers advantage that Terran can sometimes get by always trading well with the Zerg. This of course has to do with upgrades as well, but Nerchio's just kind of using 2 spells on him and hitting him very well. So it's not really so much upgrade focused in this game. So Zerg players, I want to talk about this creep spread. Nerchio has been doing this all game, and this is one tumor. Like, oftentimes you'll see Zergs do a bunch of tumors and they like have 50 tumors running through this area. Like, I do this, Destiny does this, a lot of players do this, Idra did this. But Scarlet and Nerchio kind of just use one tumor really, really effectively and use it around the corners of the map. And I really like to see that. Of course, he does do multiple tumors in high traffic areas where it's more likely to get destroyed. But a lot of times some Zerg players would kind of lose focus on spreading to the outside, and it's very important. Polt clears out an Overlord, but Nerchio can deduce that he's going to take this 4th base, and Polt has +3 upgrades on the way. But Nerchio has better ones, and he's going to run forward with Ultra here, and Polt does not have the composition to deal with Ultraless. Only 1 Liberator, which just got decimated. Nerchio has Overlords everywhere, so there's no way Polt can pull the wool over his eyes. And he might lose this. Polt does not have very many factory units. Polt loses 14 workers. Nerchio's counterattack ran into tanks, but it doesn't really matter. Polt's going to try to set up some Venn diagrams here to defend himself, as well as tanks, but he really needs Marauders, and he doesn't have the tech to do so. Nerchio has Corruptors on the way. This is smart. Polt is trying to drop to get back into the game, which is always a good move, but Nerchio has a disgusting amount of vision. He might still lose the base, though. I don't think he really cares too much about that base. Oh, he's going to defend it. Nice. He's also going to stop Polt's 4th while it's happening. So great multitask from Nerchio. Even sent some Infestors out here. Nice. He's going to push the 4th as well. Polt has lots of tanks, but lots of way more Ultras. And some of the tanks are still up here. They haven't been moved down, and he just doesn't have the Liberators he needs to deal with this, or the Marauders. He can always defend himself a little bit, but Nerchio can... He's just playing it safe. Like, if Nerchio runs up and Polt has a few tanks more up here than he expects, Nerchio could throw the game, so he's waiting for his Corruptors. He's being smart. It's a tournament game. He's in the round of 4. And he's up 60 supply. He snipes a Liberator, and the Marines run forward, and they kite backwards, but there's just so much Zerg here. Lots of tanky Zerg units. Roaches and Liberators. The Corruptors are doing a good job of taking out the Libs. Polt sets up more Liberators, but they're not spread very well. They're at risk of being corrosive bile. Nice drop here from Polt, as he's probably going to take out this base. Nerchio does some work there with his Ravagers, and he fungals the Liberators, which is useful because then he can Corrosive Bile them just like that. And now all of a sudden Polt does not have many at all. Fungals more, and Polt is down to 3. If he's trying to be obnoxious with drops, but Nerchio has Nerchio has Ultralisks, and the numbers advantage. He kills both Liberators, so now he can just fight because that's all he was worried about. And Polt GG's, so good game. I will be posting the rest of this series. It's a best of 5 if you enjoyed, and don't want to miss the rest, subscribe.